let's talk about dating. Talked about bad relationship advice. Let's talk about a little segment of that deserves expanding is bad dating advice. So I mentioned in the other video about how weird witness dating is. It's really, really weird. If you explained this to someone who was never a witness, they would think this was very strange. So you're not allowed to date unless you are unless it is with a view to marriage. So you don't start dating someone until you're already like, I think that we might be good marriage material. That's weird. That's a strange thing to do. The problem with that is that as a witness, you are constantly told that, you can't flirt, don't flirt. That could give people wrong thoughts and wrong ideas and wrong desires. You're not supposed to have very close friendships with members of the opposite sex, because that can lead to inappropriate whatever. Even talking too frequently with someone who is of the opposite sex is considered dating. Oh, they're talking now. They're talking. They text frequently. They're dating. Now there's a label on it. Oh, I guess we are dating with a view to marriage since we communicate frequently. So to jump from, I guess, casual Kingdom Hall acquaintance to, betrothed, that's a big jump. That's weird. You don't get much practice in being in a relationship. And any relationship that you are in doesn't give you much of an idea of what the person really is like. Most witness dating is rapid. It is so fast. My sister got married was engaged after knowing a guy for 6 months. My brother was engaged after knowing someone for 4 to 6 months. There was someone during COVID that got married after knowing, like they didn't know the person existed before 8 months ago, and then they got married. And, the reason for that is horny. Can't do anything. You could hold hands, maybe, but even that is kind of frowned upon. You could give a light little chase, little pucker of the lips, but that's about it. So if you have any libido, you gotta get married, because otherwise you're gonna get killed by God and shunned and so forth. So you don't have practice in relationships because it doesn't happen. You are put in a situation where your sex drive is running counter to common sense. And so if you don't break that relationship off, you might marry literally the first person to come along. The first serious person, anyway. It's very bad. It's very bad advice. And the scenarios where you would get to know this person that you are marrying in witness minds for an eternity, is very limited. So field service is a good one. Or when you're doing volunteer work for the Watchtower Society, like cleaning toilets. But you can't really have important conversations when doing this. And it's also always in group settings. You're never seeing this person how they are when they're by themselves or when they're they're with you. So, but you know what I mean. You're never seeing this person outside of a group. You're never seeing a lot of this person. So you're exposed to this person in very controlled, very limiting circumstances for a very short period of time. Not good foundation. The checklist is in this week's Watchtower. They had a thing about sisters. Is he spiritual? Is he someone that you will submit to his headship? Does he have spiritual goals? What do other people say about his spirituality? Nothing about, like, personality traits, aspects, whatever. There's a reason for that. There's a reason why those personality traits are not considered important, which we'll get to. So you're gauging this person on a weird Watchtower checklist that in no way is useful for knowing if the person is actually, like, compatible with you. Do your personalities mesh? That's not talked about. It's just, the only thing that matters is that you both have spiritual goals. The actual, like, you know, having any good aspects, having a sense of humor, being patient, like, these things are not talked about. Anyway. Another weird aspect of the dating thing is that it can be torpedoed by the elders in the halls, because they will go, like, you will go up to, you go to a new hall, because that's how you meet new people, because you're not supposed to use dating apps. So you go to a new hall, you go to a convention, you meet someone, and you chat with them, and the elders come up to them later like, that guy doesn't have a very good reputation, he's not very spiritual, his service time is low, he's not a ministerial servant. Well, torpedoed my chances with that person. And the other thing with dating, too, is because you're only supposed to date witnesses, your dating pool is tiny, tiny, tiny. It is insignificant. In the halls that I have been in, the maximum number of single women within my age bracket has been like 3. Usually it's 1 or 2. Usually it's 1. So you have one option in your hall, and it might be someone that you grew up with, and you're like, we are basically siblings, and I feel no attraction for this person. So you gotta meet someone at an assembly, I guess. Also, during all of these times, the person is obviously putting on their best witness persona. So you are not knowing them, not knowing who they really are. So during Zoom, another aspect of this intensely stupid way of dating is they have said, this was in the Lloyd had a leak about the dating article that's coming up. You can get to know other witnesses in Zoom breakout rooms, and an elder will be there to chaperone and make sure that the conversations stay Christian. Oh, good. This is, nothing at all makes me want to open up and really express myself and get to know someone else, but knowing that a 40-year-old bored man is sitting in the background watching what I type. That makes me really want to open up and be genuine. Neat. That's great. That's a great way to get to know somebody. That's not uncomfortable or weird at all. These idiots. I can't believe they even suggested that. That's just so, like, it's moon people. Like, what human would say this? What person would say this and think, yes, this is something that anyone will do? There will be like 3 Uber witness couples that will do this thing, and those will be the weird ones. I love Jehovah so much. I love that he made birds so that we could appreciate birds. Those will be the only people that use this advice. It's insane. So weird. So you're not getting to know the person, you're knowing them for a very short period of time, you're not getting to know the real person, you are being interfered with by micromanaging other people, you have an extremely limited dating pool. And then on top of all of this, depending on your libido, you are completely inexperienced when it comes to sex. You have if you have been a good, upstanding witness, you haven't even touched your no-no zone. You have no idea what you like. That's a lot of sun. Oh well, you'll forgive me. I want my YouTube pennies, so I will gesture, but all of the witness brothers, it sounds so weird to say that, but I'm just going to use the cult lingo because it's easier. All of the brothers that I knew would lie and say they'd never, polished the banister, I'm like, you guys are liars. You're definitely lying, right? You never? Not once? All right, let's take them at their word. They've never, they've never touched their bathing suit area except for briefly in the shower to make sure it's spick and span. They've never looked at porn. They've never, they've suppressed all of their sexual thoughts because that's a sin. They have no idea what they want. They have no idea what to do. They have no idea what their sex drive is. And that's important. And I know of multiple couples that had very incompatible sex drives, where the one spouse was very high and the other's was almost non-existent. That's not good. That's going to be tension in the relationship for the vast majority of people. Intimacy, sex, is an important part of the relationship. And I doubt you're going to get two asexual people lining up conveniently as witnesses. Statistically, I suppose it's possible, but it's very unlikely. So you're going to end up with people who have no idea what their desires and drives are until after. This will be a discovery process where you're like, oh, wait, you don't like the things that you don't even know what you like, but you'd go into it and be like, this, let's say you've had a little experience, you've joined because someone knocked on your door in the extremely unlikely scenario, so you have a little experience of, the carnal delights, and you're like, I like these things. These things are important to me, and I need this. This is something that is important to me. And the other person says, ew, no, gross. I would never do that in a million years. That's going to be some tension. That's going to make things challenging. Plus, there's the whole repressed thing about witnesses and sex anyway, which adds a whole nother layer on top of stuff. The funny thing is that my generation, so millennials and younger, I guess. I realized I turned my air down. That's very loud. I apologize. I should have thought of that sooner. I hope that wasn't too loud for you. Millennials and younger, we all sent each other dirty pictures. Like, we all did. We all, cyber sex sounds like, okay, boomer, like, we all said nasty stuff to each other. I know that from several similar age couples that were witnesses that we talked about, like, oh yeah, we did that. There were several that, like, gave each other hand jobs and stuff, and we're like, yeah, that's fine, it didn't bother us. I find that very funny. Like, on paper, all of these very uptight good witnesses are, like, going into everything completely blind. They don't know the person, they don't know the real person, they've known them for very little time, they're completely ignorant of all of these things. And a lot of the witnesses don't follow that advice and are just like, sure, I'll do that. When we're in the car together, just reach over. Oh, that happened for one of our former friends. I find that funny. At the time I was like, oh, I am scandalized. And now I'm just like, good for you. Good for you. You. That's fun. I mean, it's fine. Be safe. Be safe. Consent is important. But yeah, go wild. That's fun. Have fun. It's weird how much that stuff would bother me and shame me, and I'm like, yeah, get some, yeah, good for you. I can't. It's so funny. But yeah, the dating advice is absolutely awful. It is the worst. It just sets you up for absolutely rumble strip. Absolutely sets you up for failure. You are just so hampered by this that it really sets things off on the wrong foot. And to come back to what I was saying earlier, I didn't forget. I almost did. The reason why the checklist is spirituality basically only that, and the assumption is that if they are a spiritual person, they will of course be putting on the Christian personality, and obviously that will result in them having a good personality, which we all know is crapola. That is not true. But the reason why they only have spirituality as basically the only thing on the checklist is because in the new system, you will be perfect and they will be perfect. And so basically, it doesn't matter who you marry, because they are an empty vessel that will be sculpted into perfection. You will be happy with them in the new system. So even if you're not happy with them now, God's going to turn them into apparently a completely different person. And maybe change you both into completely different people that now enjoy being together. It's insane. It is an absolutely insane thing to be like, we don't need to work on each other. We don't need to work on ourselves. We don't need to work on our relationship. We just need to be spiritual and sail on into the new system, and then it'll all be perfect. And then we'll finally be happy. But yeah, that's why dating is that way. It doesn't really matter. If they're spiritual, they're taking a lead, the spiritual head, and the woman being submissive. A good submissive wife who doesn't contradict her husband, or, a slave. Property, that stuff, that's nice. Those are the only important things, because you just gotta get to the new system. Nothing else matters. You just gotta get to the new system. But that's why, in my opinion, that so many of their policies are bad. We'll probably have to revisit this idea as I ramble. Because the ends justify the means. You're going to get there eventually, so it doesn't matter in the meantime. Just put up with it. So if you dated someone for 4 months and you married them and you didn't know who they were, and you're completely incompatible personality and sexual desires wise, it's fine. All of that will get fixed someday. Maybe. If we're right. They're not right. So screw that. Get out of there. Go find somebody better. Or, try and salvage your relationship. That would be good. I support the idea of... I don't like the idea of just dumping someone at the... just because it's convenient or easy. Just be like, we're not getting along. Out of here. If it can be salvaged, that's probably better. But, if they're abusive, if they're manipulative, if they are toxic or harmful to you, obviously, yeah. Screw them. Get out of there. Don't waste your time. I know of people who, jump ship at the earliest sign of inconvenience in a relationship. Like, you're never going to have a long-term relationship doing that. It's not great. Who am I to say, though? I don't know what I'm talking about. I was in a cult until recently. I don't know a thing. Except that the witnesses are a cult. I definitely know that one. That is a fact. That is the one fact that I store in my head right there. It's one large fact. That's it. That was a little bit of a longer ramble. Comments on the last video. Oh boy, there were some rough ones. I am glad you guys are out. I am very, very happy for you guys. I was thankfully mostly spared the horrifying trauma that you can be subjected to as a witness. And I still feel it, man. Like, I don't know how you guys do it. You guys are strong as hell. Because, like, someone's got a little sticker that says mermaid life, and it's got, like, the Ariels from the Little Mermaid silhouette. That's pretty funny. I like that. But you guys are strong. Good for you. You should be proud of yourselves. Because, like, boy, like, my cheerful, happy-go-lucky self is the thin candy shell of my sad chocolate core. And I wasn't abused. I wasn't in a terrible manipulative relationship. I never feared for my life. Well, I guess from God. I feared my life. I feared God was going to kill me. But, like, physically, never feared for my life. You guys are doing great. You should really, like, you know, cheesy as it is, like, give yourself a pat on the back. Like, you are awesome. You got out of a mind control cult. You guys are great. Oh man, it's so upsetting though reading your stories, because, like, it's so bad. It's so bad. And the elders and the circuit overseers, the higher up you go, the more certain they are to be aware of these things. And yet they're still in it. And yet they still participate and enforce and continue this terrible, terrible, terrible organization. It's very upsetting. Angry. Grr. Anyway, that was very long, very rambly. If you are dating a witness, don't do it unless they're awake. Just you know, safest thing is to just, you know, peace on out of there. That's what I got. That's everything. I appreciate you watching to the end. I appreciate your comments and your likes and your shares and your subscribes. All those things are great. Very appreciative. I'm plugging Mark's book again. Very, very good. Is It Really So? Great cover design too. I love the snake. Amazon referral link doesn't cost him or you anything extra, but Amazon gives a little percentage to me, which is cool. So that's nice. It will help us all out. You'll get to learn something, Mark will get some money, and I'll get a couple cents. It's like, great. We all get something good. Other book that I will plug that has been in the other links, Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. Applies to this stuff a lot. There's a lot of stuff in there that really resonates reading it. It's a good book for trying to understand the mechanics, the hows and whys of some of the personalities that you get among the witnesses. Look at this green. Look at the green in the rearview mirror. I'm driving by. Can't see this beautiful field. Man, I wish I had a farm. This beautiful green field. Rolling pasture. Look at this, it's pretty. Anyway, I am having a good day. My sad chocolate core is very small today. I got a thick candy shell. It's going good today. That's all for real this time. I appreciate you, and I hope that you are having a good day. Again, I hope that this was entertaining, informative, something. And I'll see you next time.